Hey, welcome to the briefing. What I'm going to cover with you today is this. Before you skip the PM, look at the next breakdown. I want to take this one into manufacturing because this is where the short-term number can start acting like the only truth in the room. The production board is behind. The customer order is due. The line missed rate yesterday. The changeover ran long. Scrap is already higher than the plant wants. The planner is asking for every available hour. The supervisor says the machine can still run. Maintenance is saying the line is showing signs, and now the plant leader has to make the call. Stop the line for preventive maintenance or push through and protect today's production number. That is not a clean decision. Not in a real plant. Not when delivery, throughput, labor, margin, quality, and customer commitment are all sitting on the table at the same time. People outside that pressure like simple answers. Never move the PM. Always protect reliability. Follow the maintenance calendar no matter what. That sounds clean from a distance, but serious manufacturing leaders know better. Sometimes the line has to run, sometimes the customer window is tight, sometimes the plant has already lost time to a supplier miss, a long changeover, an operator gap, a sanitation delay, or a quality hold from earlier in the week. But there is a second mistake that gets expensive fast. Treating preventive maintenance like optional work every time the board turns red. Skipping the PM does not remove the stop. Sometimes it only gives the line the power to choose when the stop happens. Preventive maintenance is not just downtime. It is controlled downtime. It is the planned interruption that lets the plant inspect, adjust, lubricate, tighten, align, clean, replace, test, and catch failure conditions before the equipment chooses the timing on its own. A planned stop has preparation. A breakdown has disruption. A planned stop can be sequenced around labor, material, tooling, sanitation, line clearance, quality checks, and customer commitments. A breakdown pulls maintenance out of the plan, breaks production sequence, creates containment risk, forces schedule rebuilds, and usually lands when the plant has the least room to absorb it. That is where long-range observation matters. It asks the leader to look past today's production pressure and ask what this maintenance decision creates next. Not just what it saves right now. What does it create next shift, next week, or during the next customer critical run? Picture a mid-sized food packaging facility. We will call the plant manager Denise. Her plant produces multi-pack snack products for grocery and convenience customers. The site runs several packaging lines, but line 4 is one of the big producers. It handles a high-volume product family with tight delivery windows, frequent changeovers, seal checks, case packing, date coding, customer-specific labels, and enough small execution points that the line has to stay in rhythm. When line 4 is stable, it protects volume. When line 4 starts drifting, it gets expensive before it ever fully fails. For the last 2 weeks, line 4 has been sending signals. Micro stops are increasing. The sealer is running warmer than normal. Operators are making more frequent adjustments to keep the run alive. Maintenance has noticed vibration near the drive section. Scrap is not out of control yet, but it is trending higher. A few seals have needed extra inspection. The conveyor has that vibration everyone keeps mentioning, but nobody wants to escalate during a tight production week. The line is still running, and that is exactly why the risk is easy to discount. A failed line gets attention. A line that is still running gets negotiated with. A 4-hour preventive maintenance window is scheduled for Thursday morning. The maintenance plan is basic reliability work: inspection, lubrication, belt tension checks, sealer adjustment, sensor cleaning, and replacement of several wear components. Nothing dramatic, nothing exotic, just the work that keeps the line from turning small signs into a hard stop. But the plant is behind. A customer critical order has to ship Friday. A Monday changeover ran long. A supplier delay compressed the production schedule. The planner is asking for every available hour. The production supervisor says line 4 can make up time if they keep it running. The maintenance lead says the PM should not move again because this is not the first delay. That same PM was already pushed once last week. Now Denise has the call. Skip the PM, run the line, protect the customer order, and schedule maintenance after the shipment. That logic makes sense. The customer matters. The shipment matters. The number matters. The plant cannot casually stop a key line just because the calendar says maintenance. But Denise does not only look at Thursday morning. Thursday morning is the visible cost. The real question is what Thursday creates for Friday. for the next long run, for quality, for maintenance availability, for operators, for overtime, and for the customer window that has no recovery time. This is not production versus maintenance. That framing is too cheap. The real question is sharper. What risk is the plant accepting? Who will pay for it later? And is the leader making that trade-off deliberately or just reacting to the board? At the surface level, the visible math is powerful. A 4-hour PM window equals 4 hours of lost production. If the line runs, the plant gets more units. If the line stops, the plant loses output. That short read is not completely wrong. Planned downtime does cost production time, and a customer does not care that the PM was scheduled if the shipment misses. But the short read misses the equipment condition. It misses what the machine is already telling the plant. Micro stops are increasing. Heat is trending up. Vibration has been noted. Operators are adjusting more often. Scrap is rising. The PM has already moved once. Maintenance coverage is limited later in the week. A customer critical run is coming next. That combination changes the decision. The question is no longer, can I get 4 more hours out of this line today? The question becomes, what condition am I carrying into the next production window if I skip reliability work again? A line can still run and still be getting weaker. A machine can produce acceptable product while reliability is degrading. Operators can hold the process together for a while with adjustments, resets, workarounds, and experience. Maintenance can keep patching symptoms. Quality can catch early variation. Supervisors can keep the run alive. But none of that means the system is under control. Sometimes it means the team is borrowing output from future reliability. That is where plants get trapped. They confuse uptime today with control tomorrow. The line is running, so they treat it like the line is healthy. The order is moving, so they treat the risk like it is contained. Scrap is still explainable, so they treat the trend like noise. Maintenance has not declared an emergency, so they treat the PM as negotiable. Then the plant acts surprised when the breakdown shows up exactly where the warning signs were pointing. The plant may protect 4 hours today and lose 20 later. It may protect the board this morning and break the schedule next week. It may avoid one planned stop and walk straight into an uncontrolled stop during the worst possible customer window. So Denise looks forward. If the PM happens, the plant loses controlled time. That is real. Production has to absorb the window. The planner may need to resequence the run. The supervisor has to protect restart discipline. The crew needs a clean line clearance and a strong handoff. Shipping needs to understand what the adjusted schedule looks like. Nobody should pretend planned downtime is free, but if the PM does not happen, the future cost may be bigger and less controllable. The sealer may drift during the longer run. Seal variation may increase. Quality may need to hold product. Scrap may climb. The drive section vibration may become a failure. Maintenance may get called during production instead of during the planned window. The customer critical order may be interrupted at the point where recovery time is gone. That is the manufacturing warning. The line stops on its own terms. A planned PM gives the plant a say in the timing. A breakdown takes that control away. The question is not, do we like downtime? Nobody likes downtime. The question is, do we want controlled downtime now, or are we accepting the risk of uncontrolled downtime later? Controlled downtime is a decision. Failure downtime is a consequence. And when failure downtime hits, it does not stay inside maintenance. It moves across the plant. Production loses sequence. Quality starts containment. Planners rebuild the schedule. Shipping checks customer impact. Operators wait, get reassigned, or keep trying to recover a line that should have been corrected earlier. Overtime becomes more likely. Fatigue builds. Maintenance backlog gets worse because the team is reacting instead of executing the reliability plan. I have seen versions of this mistake before, and I respect it more now than I did earlier in leadership. Under pressure, it is easy to reward the decision that feels productive right now. Run the line, catch the number, protect the shipment, deal with maintenance later. Sometimes that is the right call, but if that becomes the default every time the plant gets tight, the plant is not making controlled trade-offs anymore. It is teaching the operation that reliability work only matters after equipment fails. Once that pattern sets in, operators compensate longer, supervisors argue that the machine can make it one more shift, planners treat maintenance windows as flexible until failure proves otherwise, and maintenance learns that the plan loses to the board unless the line is already down. That is not only a maintenance problem, that is a leadership rhythm problem. Now let's be practical. Denise does not have to shut down blindly just because maintenance raises a concern. Long-range observation is not a reason to stop the line every time a vibration gets mentioned, or every time a mechanic says the schedule would look cleaner with more PM time. The leader still has to judge the trade-off. The plant still has to make product. The customer still needs delivery. The decision still has to fit the operating condition. But the read must include the equipment signals: repeated micro stops, rising heat, vibration, increasing scrap, more operator adjustment, repeat quality checks, a maintenance task already delayed once, a long run coming next, a customer critical shipment tied to the same equipment, and limited mechanic availability later in the week. If the machine is stable and the PM window has flexibility, maybe the plant moves it. Fine. But if the machine is already showing heat, vibration, scrap drift, and increasing adjustment, and the PM has already been delayed, then the plant is no longer making a simple schedule choice. It is deciding whether to carry known equipment risk into the next customer critical run. That conversation should be direct, not emotional, not vague, not production versus maintenance. Direct. Here's the production pressure. Here are the equipment signals. Here's the next run this line has to carry. Here's the risk if we delay. Here's what we can protect now. Here's what we will monitor if we run. Here's what we are accepting if we skip it. That kind of controlled decision may still move the PM, but it will not pretend the risk disappeared. Maybe the full PM happens. Maybe the PM is split into a critical reliability window and a later non-critical task window. Maybe production resequences work around the most important maintenance actions. Maybe quality increases checks during the next run because the reliability risk is known. Maybe the plant replaces the wear component now and pushes the inspection task later. Maybe the supervisor protects restart discipline after the maintenance window, so the stop does not create another loss. That is not overprocessing. That is manufacturing discipline. Here is what I would tell a plant leader, operations manager, production supervisor, maintenance manager, planner, or quality lead. Before you move a preventive maintenance window, name the production pressure clearly. Is the line behind? Is the customer order due? Is the plant chasing weekly output? Did a changeover run long? Did a supplier delay compress the schedule? Is the planner asking for every available hour? Is the shipment at risk with no recovery time? We need the hours is not enough. Which hours? For what run? For which customer? With what risk if the line fails later? Then identify the equipment signals. What is the line already showing? Are micro stops increasing? Is heat trending up? Is vibration being reported? Is scrap rising? Are operators making more adjustments than normal? Are quality checks taking longer? Are seals showing variation? Is the drive section making noise? Has the same PM already moved once? Are mechanics saying this is routine, or are they saying the risk is stacking? Those signals separate a controlled schedule adjustment from a reliability gamble. Then check the next production window. What does the equipment have to carry next? A long run? A customer critical order? A tighter spec? A changeover heavy week, limited maintenance coverage, a known shortage of spare parts, a sanitation window that cannot move, a shipment with no recovery time. The future window matters because a machine that survives today may not survive the next demand placed on it. Then decide what must be protected before running. Complete the highest risk PM tasks. Split the maintenance window. Replace the wear component now and inspect later. Hold production until a critical adjustment is complete. Resequence the schedule around the planned stop. Add monitoring for heat, vibration, scrap, and seal quality during the next run. Do not let the decision disappear into a casual, we will get to it later. Later is not a plan. Later needs a window, an owner, a risk control, and a consequence check. There are a few warning signs I would watch hard. If the same PM keeps moving, one move may be a trade-off, but repeated moves are a signal. The plant may be building future downtime into the schedule without naming it. If micro stops become normal, do not ignore them just because the line restarts. Repeated micro stops often show that the line is asking for attention before a larger failure appears. If operators are adjusting more often, pay attention. Good operators can hide equipment problems for a while, but operator heroics are not a reliability strategy. If scrap rises before downtime hits, respect the signal. The line may still be moving, but quality loss may already be showing the cost of equipment drift. And if maintenance is spending more time in recovery than prevention, the plant has lost control of the rhythm. Emergency repairs, breakdown calls, quick patches, and repeated workarounds may keep production alive for a while, but they do not build reliability. The most dangerous warning sign is this: the production board looks good while the line gets weaker. That is how a good-looking day becomes a bad week. So I want to say this plainly. This briefing is not telling production leaders to hand the keys to maintenance and stop every time there is concern. Manufacturing leadership lives in trade-offs. Sometimes you run, sometimes you stop, sometimes you split the PM. Sometimes you monitor the condition and protect the next window. Sometimes you accept risk because the customer consequence is immediate and severe. But if you accept risk, accept it with your eyes open. Do not dress it up as control just because the line is still moving. The sharper question is this: what failure are we willing to risk, and what evidence says that risk is acceptable? If nobody can answer that, the decision is not controlled. If the answer is only, we need the units, the read is too thin. If the equipment signals are stacking and the PM has already been delayed, the leader needs a better reason than hope. Hope is not a maintenance plan. Hope is not a production plan. Hope is not a customer protection plan. A controlled decision sounds different. It says, we are delaying the non-critical tasks, but completing the sealer adjustment and belt tension check now. It says we are running the next 4 hours, then taking a shorter reliability window before the long run. It says quality will increase checks because the equipment condition is known. It says if heat or scrap crosses this threshold, we stop before the line chooses the stop for us. That is operational leadership, not perfect, controlled. So before you skip the PM, look at the next breakdown. Ask what you are reacting to. Ask what the equipment is already showing you. Ask what the next run depends on. Ask whether the line is stable or only surviving. Ask who pays for the failure if the line chooses the stop later. Long-range observation does not block production. It protects production from short-sighted reliability decisions. It keeps the plant from confusing motion with control, because the line can still run. That does not mean the line is healthy. The shipment may still move. That does not mean the risk is gone. The board may look better. That does not mean the plant is in control. Read the heat, read the vibration, read the micro stops, read the scrap, read the next customer critical run, then decide. Do not let the line choose the stop for you. Move with control. Thanks for listening to the briefing.